Hi, welcome. I'm trying some different settings today, so if I sound a little bit quieter, that is on purpose, because I notice I'm still peaking a little bit, so I'm trying to get audio a little bit sorted out. But hello, welcome, good afternoon, or evening, depending on what part of the world you're in, or morning, depending on what part of the world you're in, or whatever time of day it is. I am rambling. I feel like last week was an eternity, and I feel like I say this every time. Every time I, don't stream for a bit, I feel like I have no clue what I'm doing with my life, and I'm completely discombobulated trying to come back. So hi, Wednesday to Monday doesn't seem like that long, but that is enough time for me to completely fall out of a routine. So, at some point I would like to consider adding on an additional stream, partly just to ensure I can actually stay on track with my life. Get out of bed early, for example. Time change is helping with that a little bit, at least. So yeah, I'm trying to monitor audio levels. It feels like I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels a little bit like my normal talking voice is kind of where I want it to be, almost, but just slightly not where I want it to be. Like, maybe slightly louder, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll go with this though, because again, I noticed I was peaking during a lot of streams recently, so we'll try to dial it back a little bit and go from there. Again, I have limiters in place to keep it from getting too loud, but even then it feels a little distorted if I talk too loud. It's fine. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I notice it more because I have to listen to my voice, and I don't like listening to my voice anyway. And then if I have to listen to my voice as it's distorting, then it feels even worse. But hello, welcome. Today we're going to be playing some Guilty Gear Strive because I'm totally hyperfixating. I wish I had kept track of what my playtime was before this weekend. I want to say I was in the 50-hour range. I'm currently just shy of 75 hours. So I want to say yesterday I was at 68 or 69 hours, and I'm at 74.2. So I've been playing a normal amount of Guilty Gear, Strive specifically, because Daisy came out, and I'm very much hyperfixating. So I actually got the last achievement I was missing. We'll talk about that more later, but at some point I need to make the decision of which route we're doing, because I could try to go extreme again, but it's kind of annoying for the sake of content, because you have to win every round. If you lose a round, you have to lose the whole match, and then try again. So it might get a little bit repetitive towards the middle. On YouTube, I'll make sure to edit all that out for the main channel upload, but I'll also have a VOD channel for uncut highlights, because I'm sure I'll go full podcast mode as we get deeper into this. I know I should be starting, because I already started a few minutes, 10 to 15 minutes late as is. I like Symphony, and I want to let it play, so I'm just gonna sit here for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It's my stream, I can do what I want, is kind of my mentality with that. It's we can't stop here. Heck, we gotta let it play through this part at least. I don't know what I'll do after arcade mode. There's a temptation to go online, but I have reservations about that, and I might try to explain it. The TLDR is I thought about starting a series on my YouTube channel, partly just because I thought of the alliteration of Fox Talks. And so, for a real talk video, series. But a problem I have with a lot of games is I'm in a weird no man's land of skill, where I am both how to describe it? I think I'm above average at a lot of games, which puts me in a really weird space where it's hard to find people at the same, skill level, because I feel like I tend to either be Fox Talks, as in Talks. Oh, rhyme. Actually, not alliteration, that's a rhyme. But anyway, point being, just to get the rhyme in, essentially. But yeah, I feel like this happens a lot with games. Mario Kart's the big example of this, where it feels like I am simultaneously, like, really good at Mario Kart, but if I jumped into a public lobby, I would get destroyed. So, like, trying to find people at the comparable skill level I'm at is very difficult. But again, I thought about doing a whole video on this, because it's something that I think about a lot with online games, where it's like really, like, skill-based matchmaking is like difficult for where I fall in like every game. Like Splatoon is the same way, where it's like I feel like I'm not good enough to be at like a competitive level, but I'm also like too try-hard to play at a casual level. I worry about playing like Strive with friends. I'm just gonna frustrate them because I can't hold back. But then if I try to play ranked, I'll get absolutely bodied. So there's like no middle ground with my skill level, unfortunately. Which again, I hope I don't sound like an asshole saying it this way, like if I'm like a humble brag or something. But yeah, that's something I notice a lot. Smash Bros was another one, where it's like I felt like I was either better than people I knew or worse than people I knew. Which means I'd either get destroyed by the people better than me, or just destroy the people below me, and it felt like no one was having fun. So that's why I like to crank up item rates in Smash to max, because that just makes a crazy party game, and then you're not worrying about like tryharding as much, because then it's anyone's game if random BS is happening. So see, like, you also haven't done the tutorial yet. You like deliberately skipped the tutorial. Yeah, awkward skill valley. That's a good way to put it. It's a skill valley where it's like really hard to find people who are like same level. Like I keep bouncing between in Strive floor 7 and floor 5 because I keep running into people who either like really better than me or like really worse than me. So I keep ranking up and ranking down so many times. So it's been an experience. You're talking about Mario Kart? Oh, true. I remember playing Mario Kart in a server once, and people were getting really frustrated at me because I kept winning. And this is like the story of my life with Mario Kart 8 Online, where the only exception was there was one person in 8 Wii U who like knew how fire hopping works. I never could get it to work, and they were just kind of like skill issue. And so it wasn't fun to play with those people because you had the people that were just fire hop, and I didn't know how to do it, and it just felt like I was getting left behind. It's like people who wave dash and Smash Melee. It's like if you don't know how to wave dash and you play someone who does, and they're like, no, I will just learn the move. It's like that's not really productive to anybody. But again, I might talk about this in more detail. Again, we might do some online. We'll see how I'm feeling. This might be a short stream too, because have you ever seen a fox scream? That's how my internal, like, mindset feels right now. It's just a fox screaming on loop. Because, oh god, there's a lot that could go wrong in the very near future, and I will leave it at that. If you're watching the VOD, then, I was thinking about the Sonic Generations quote about, like, enjoy your future, because it's like, I hope it's a good future at least. But anyway, I don't want to get into that, obviously. This is like an escapism time period, so we're gonna turn off, the town inside Bridget, unfortunately, and we're gonna hop over here and get started on the game. This might cause a frame rate drop just because of the game booting up. Alright, after going through every canon Dizzy story mode, canon being used very loosely given how many of her story modes have been retconned since, we have now made it to Guilty Gear Strive. This is being recorded in early November, so that means Dizzy is finally playable. Game is quiet. I feel like parts of the game will be very loud, so I think I might leave it quiet for now and see how the actual like gameplay side of things feels. Because there's a chance that the game could be very loud if I turn it up too much. A lot of times, like, attack sounds end up being very loud. You know, one thing I miss about the older games is a lot of times when you'd have a really big revision, you'd end up getting a different opening movie. One thing I actually miss is actually having different openings. Like, we've had this opening since launch. I'm checking my sound settings right now. It's actually kind of quiet. We'll put it there. But again, I think if we go too loud with it, it might be blasting in other moments. So we'll play by ear, pun intended. Again, I like this opening, and I like this song. However, I do miss when we get different openings per revision, but now that we're in the age of patches, you don't really have to do like a separate boxed version of the game the same way you used to. That still feels quiet, but again, I think the actual gameplay is going to be really loud, unfortunately. Again, a lot of times games have very bad audio balancing. There are ways to have like audio ducking, and I might have to look into that at some point. But for my level of streaming, I almost feel like I'm opting to play it safe and not like break things potentially by trying to introduce like more into a chain that could potentially break, if that makes sense. Anyway, this is basically like the culmination of a lot of games in the series. Basically, with the story starting with Guilty Gear X and X2 with Batman or Asuka, but also introducing a bunch of new characters and also wrapping up stories for like Soul and Ino and a bunch of characters. Unlike in XR, the story modes are more, or the arcade modes are more standalone versus directly tying into the main story. They're just kind of fun little character episodes, basically. So I do think there is some merit to these, like this game's approach to it, but it does make the arcade modes feel a little bit more like secondary. But it also helps them to be a little bit more standalone as a plus, actually. This is the fun part of Guilty Gear Strive, sitting through the communicating with server message for an extremely long amount of time. Normally it takes a bit to actually connect to the server, because this game is really odd where it has really good rollback netcode, but a lot of the things surrounding that netcode are not ideal, shall we say. Which is part of the reason why, for a long time, I hesitated actually playing ranked, and only really got into it starting with this current patch, because I finally have a main of sorts. Again, I played Dizzy a lot in Xrd, so in general, I kind of know what to do with this character more than some. So we'll hop into arcade mode and see how this goes, and I'll try to do my best to explain the ins and outs of it as we go, because arcade mode works really weirdly in this game. The way it's like structured, like it says root hard, and that is important for later, but basically how well you play determines the difficulty of everything, and I think I'll try to go for extreme.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts, heaven or hell. Queen Dizzy versus Gold Lewis. Duel 1. Let's rock.
It would help if I was tapped into the window. But yeah, you have several fixed fights here. Gold Lewis is always Dizzy's first opponent, because he's actually tied to her story. I've been playing Dizzy a lot. This was going to hurt, actually. Not enough kill, so we are still fine in that regard. Now I feel like a lot of the sound effects are too loud though, so I'll have to wait and see. Like, in post, I might have to adjust audio a little bit going forward. So yeah, I might have been playing a lot of Strive this weekend, so if my overall like ability to play Guilty Gear seems a little bit higher than when I was going through the arcade modes, there's a reason for that, because I've been actively grinding through the tower mode quite a bit lately. So yeah, I generally have a better idea of what I was what I'm doing in Strive compared to a lot of the other games. I'm also using a DualSense, so I think I had a dropped input there because I was trying to use an overdrive. Yes, it's showing kind of loud on the readout, but I don't know if that's like just how it's being read or if it actually is like too loud. Because it seems kind of okay on my end, but we'll see.
イアラティアのクイーン D ジなぜここに人民の上に立つお方がお礼もつけず歩くような場所ではありません。
少し一人になりたかったんです。考え事がしたくて。
そういう時も終わりでしょう。あなたの立場では。
ええ、宿題を先延ばしにはしないでほしいので、親として叱るべきか諭すべきか、やはり悩んでしまいますね。
それは大変なことです。
So because we won both rounds, we are now on the extreme path, and we'll go down back to the hard path if we lose a round. So we'll do our best here. Kai is an opponent I have trouble fighting, especially this patch where they accidentally gave him an infinite. So I don't think the AI will use it, so we'll hopefully be okay. I always play Guilty Gear in Japanese for whatever reason.
心強いです。共に歩めることが。
カイさんだけには背負わせません。
I mean, it's partly because we went through every other Guilty Gear in Japanese, because a lot of them didn't even have voice options, so for the sake of consistency. This game does have a pretty solid English cast though. Most notably, right now, Dizzy is voiced by Kara Buckland, who is obviously 2B in Nier Automata, and also Jolene in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I cannot tell you any more details about JoJo because I am like extraordinarily not knowledgeable about JoJo. It is not a series I'm really into, to be honest. So yeah, if I feel like I'm tryharding even against the AI, it's because I don't think I can help myself right now. I've been playing so much, I think I'm just going straight into like a flow state. We'll see how much it actually helps with the rest of arcade mode though, because things do get rough towards the end of Extreme. If you end up losing a round, you will eventually go down to hard mode again, but the inherent trick to this is you can actually make it so if you lose both rounds and restart the fight from the beginning, you end up actually okay, that was interesting. You end up getting another chance at it. So if we do lose a round, we'll just restart the match, basically.
どの服を着ていこうかしら。でもカイさんはきっと何でも似合うとしか言いませんから。
It's so cute though, actually. I don't have many cis-het ships, to be honest, and this is like one of my only ones, if I'm being blunt. Oh good, we have to fight Asuka. This will be interesting. I haven't fought in Asuka period as Dizzy, so let alone an AI, so I have no clue what this character does, even in the AI version. I've only seen like tournaments where Asuka's just like really like unhinged in his gameplay, and I have no clue what's happening or how any of it works. A really specific detail I noticed with Dizzy is depending on who she's fighting, she's sometimes smiling and sometimes not. Obviously, like with Kai, she's smiling in her round intro, but for Asuka and Ino, she isn't. Yeah, this is how I expected a fight with Asuka to go, even as an AI, just because he is notoriously, like, tricky to fight. Yeah, maybe I have to try hard a little bit just to even defeat an AI, Asuka. The other thing I actually learned after she was announced as the VA is that Kara Buckland, this was like her number 2 dream role, with Jolene being her number 1 dream role. So that I knew people were really pushing for her to be Dizzy, but I didn't know the reason was because she had actively wanted to play this character for like a very long time. So that's cool. Yeah, in general, the English cast is good. I'm just really used to the Japanese cast in these games. That is a bad time to RC. Also, this is an OTG, the 2H, which is really good to keep in mind. I actually need to think about that from time to time. I always forget to use an OTG, or on the ground, or whatever that stands for. True, I don't really have to hold back against the AI.
だんだん分かってきたよ。きっと伝わる。
Queen Dizzy wins.
I just had a huge lag spike during that fight. So apologies if it looks really choppy all of a sudden. Ooh, Ramlethal. Ramlethal's in an interesting state this version. There's some weird glitches going on in this patch in general, and Ram is one of the glitched characters. People are hoping for a hotfix soon to fix some of the issues, but this patch in general is very divisive because of how much it changes up characters. I don't know if I want to get into that, because personally I'm just kind of tuning out a lot of the discourse to the best of my ability. I don't know if this is a reflection of how little I've paid attention to some characters, but I feel like she has a lot more unique round intros compared to a lot of the roster that I've seen. Like, she has unique round intros with Soul, Kai, Sin, Elfelt, Ram. Oh wow, this is bad. Ramlethal is always kind of broken, to be honest, in this game. She's like always been like really high tier in most of Strive's like run. So even the AI is not really holding back. So yeah, we have to lose on purpose now in order to actually restart the fight from the beginning. This might take a few tries. Weirdly enough, when I was playing this off screen, or like on my own time, the toughest opponent I ran into was actually Mei. It wasn't even like the boss for Dizzy. So we'll have to see how this goes, because so far it's not going great. Now, the frame drop earlier might also just be because I'm running the game at high settings. I probably should have turned it down to medium before trying to stream and play Strive. So that's partly on me for not thinking about how I should have gone about that. So anyway, let's restart this fight, see if it goes any better this time. Again, this is a way to stay on the extreme path, so we will be using this exploit as much as possible. Interestingly, Guilty Gear 1 had an exploit where basically, you could just basically turn on a second controller and like go to an interrupt screen from the middle of an arcade run to stay on the like perfect run basically. And it's like you have to do a perfect run to get the bike in Guilty Gear 1, so like you actually do need to do that to unlock a character, which really sucks actually. Alright, that was a much better run. Again, it's partly because she's a very late character to the rosters. We're in Season 4 after all. I think genuinely Dizzy is one of the best animated characters in the entire series so far. She always is one of the better animated characters because she has her wings and her tail, which add a lot of like dynamic movement to her design. But I feel like they really outdid themselves with her animations. I think all of her like attacks look really good. Interestingly, trying to adapt to playing as her so far hasn't been too bad, because she does have a lot of the same utility, I think, as in older Guilty Gears. Just like the appearance, a lot of moves are different, and she also has the freeze ability, which personally I really like because I need as much help as I can get against certain opponents like Milia. like really fast characters.
だんだん分かってきたよ。きっと伝わる。
Queen Dizzy wins.
Alright, one loss. That's not too bad so far. Next is Potemkin, who's probably the most debated character this patch just because of how different he is compared to older versions. Again, I personally am not like knowledgeable enough on Guilty Gear mechanics to be able to adequately discuss my thoughts on the changes beyond just general vibes, which I don't know if I want to get into again. Again, I'm just kind of vibing playing this character while the community is on fire. Or at least discourse around the game is on fire at the moment.
最善を尽くすことだ。
もう迷いはありません。
Queen Dizzy versus Potemkin.
Yeah, what's up? Okay, good counter hit, starting out. Oh yeah, Potemkin Buster has armor frames, that is one thing I know. You know that mankind knew they cannot change society? I can't even remember the full quote, to be honest. I'm like trying to focus on not dying here. Okay, that was a whiff. That was also a whiff on my part. Ow. Ow. The problem is with Strive in general is there are a lot of times where you could be winning, but then if you take like one hit, you die. So you have to like be really on guard with Potemkin because it doesn't really take much to like completely throw, essentially. I should use her other moves. That is a skill issue on my part. I need to actually like remember she has more moves than just Mikhail's Sword and Ice Pillar. Nope, that seems to be working out very well for me so far. There we go. Again, I'm playing very like obnoxiously right now because I do not want to have to restart too many fights if I don't have to. Just because I got through like the boss of Dizzy's route like for like second try on like my practice run, I'm sure I'm gonna get walled on the fight on stream because that's always how this goes. There's like jokes about like streamer curse where it's like suddenly when you're streaming the game things go like really haywire. I should have not talked about this going well. That was on me. It's like, I had to open my mouth, didn't I? Because as soon as I do, then things start to derail very quickly. I can do it, but only when you're not watching, basically. Oh, that's good, actually. Never mind, that's bad, actually. That's really bad, actually. Okay, we have a problem. Okay, so now we have to restart. That was a shame, because that was going really well. I just happened to botch it at the end. But yeah, hi everyone. I hope everyone's having an alright day. Again, we just kind of have to throw this round, unfortunately, and again, this will probably not be the last time we have to do this. Stage 8, or Stage 9 is the last one, so we still have like 2 more, wait, 6, and 7 as a special fight if you're on Extreme. So we have like 1 more fight that's random, which I'm not looking forward to, for obvious reasons. Alright, attempt number 2 at Potemkin. Again, you cannot underestimate this character because one false move and you're kinda dead. Again, that's like a lot of Strive's roster though, in all fairness. Like trying to fight Soul, like online, I was really learning how things can go wrong really fast. Slayer's another one like that, where it's like, it really only takes like one misstep to just be completely out of luck with Slayer. Tide can change very fast. Oh wow, you can actually interrupt that. Okay. Did not know that. This is not a good position to be in. I probably shouldn't have done that in all fairness. Cause now I'm really in a bad spot. I have no tension gauge. So yeah, just using cheap strats, to be honest, to try to power through this to the best of my ability. Yeah, he's just blocking everything at this point. What character besides well, now I can pay attention because I have to throw again. What character could you use other than Soul? See, my guess would be Slayer. Like, because I feel like your playstyle inherent, or like, I feel like, yeah, Slayer would be my pick for you, to be honest. Like, high damage, risk reward kind of character. I think that would fit. But then you need money? Oh, that is also a fair point. Alright, try this again. Third time's the charm, as they say.
They cannot change.
Hopefully.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, focus mode activated. I'm also just playing real bad, to be honest, because I don't really know how to fight Potemkin, even as an AI. Oh, that's a good start. Kind of flexing on the AI now, after how poor the previous rounds went. Yeah, it has armor, apparently. That's, good to know. I also need to remember what combos into what. Like, this goes into a combo. Like, 5S, Close Slash, specifically, goes into Dust. You need to actually... Oh, that was a whiff. I should not have won that, to be honest. That could have gone very badly. See, like, Dizzy is not a character I traditionally play. Normally, I like really fast characters. Dizzy kind of isn't. But the inherent thing about Dizzy is I like her for her story, so that means I will tough out her gameplay if it means appreciating the character, basically. Again, I'm like weird about fighting games where I need to have an emotional connection in some way in order to like really get into wanting to learn a character. And again, I talked about this before, but like Pyra and Mithra in Smash is the other really obvious example. Oh, that's bad. That's gonna kill, actually. Yeah, that's gonna kill. I don't have that much health, and this does like 60% now. They buffed it. So yeah, this is the one problem with going with extreme difficulty, is just having to sit through like round 2 over and over again, at least for me, because I'm not the best at this game. If I was better at the game, I wouldn't probably lose all these fights, and then I wouldn't have to worry about this, but that's also like my issue is I have like inherent okay knowledge. Like, if you were to like score me on how much I know this game, like how much do I know how to play Dizzy right now? I'd probably be like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But like the inherent problem is I don't have matchup knowledge of most of this roster. The inherent problem is when I see people playing certain characters online, I kind of avoid fighting them, which is technically on me, because I need to fight the like character to get better at fighting them. But then I see like Potemkin, and then I'm like, I'm gonna rank down if I fight this person, so I'm not gonna fight this person. Case in point, again, even an AI Potemkin is not giving me an easy time here. Again, off screen, when I was going through this, Mei was the wall for me. Like, I kept losing to Mei over and over again, no matter what. So, again, this isn't entirely unexpected. Okay, we forced the burst, that's good. I need to use more other moves. I've also thought about getting a controller, but I also don't want to spend money on it. So for example, like, I would really like a controller, like a fight stick. Well, there we go, we have to restart again. And again, there's no quick restart, unfortunately, for arcade mode. So we just have to, like, yeah, sit through round 2. But the inherent problem I have with a fight stick is you have to learn a whole different control method, because it's not just like, oh, the controller is gonna make you better at the game. It doesn't work that way. So like you have to basically relearn riding a bike, basically. Like, okay, ride a bike, but like the pedals are over here now. So it's just like, it is sort of, there are benefits to it, but also the learning curve provides drawbacks.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
What is this? Attempt number 4 or 5 at Potemkin? I've lost count. Again, this isn't shocking to me whatsoever, as, again, someone with very little matchup knowledge on this character in particular. May is a character I need matchup knowledge on, I feel. Just because I feel like I'm going to be fighting a May sometime in the future if I make poor life choices. I mean, at least we got to listen to Armored Clad Faith a bunch. Like, that is one benefit of losing over and over again to Potemkin, though unfortunately that means we only hear like the first part of the song over and over again. This is just not going great, to be honest. To be honest, that was part of the reason why I kind of hesitated on playing Strive today, because I had a feeling I was gonna get walled on the character. And again, here I get a perfect round start when we can't actually win, so... Again, we could go down to hard mode, but since I've literally done it on my own time, I know I can get through extreme, so I'd want to show it off. It's almost just like a matter of like pride at this point, trying to get through this. But also why I'm like, I don't know if I'll do anything else this stream, or if I'll just call it, and do something else after. I have completely lost count, but we'll see how this goes. That doesn't always freeze. Wow, okay, early burst. That's interesting. Thank you for the positive wishes. I'm doing my best. Potemkin is just not a character I'm used to fighting. Potemkin and grapplers in general are like really frustrating to me because I both understand why they're considered low tier characters usually. Like Zangief in Street Fighter is usually not high tier. But I always feel like if I were to play a Zangief, I would lose because I don't know how to fight a grappler in like any game, period. And that's inherently the problem with like Potemkin, is I do not know how to fight grapplers effectively. Dizzy Gaming, hi, welcome. We're getting bodied by the AI because we're trying to get to extreme mode. We're trying to stay on extreme mode more specifically, so that means we have to win both rounds of every match. So yeah, we're like, we lost once to somebody, I think. So like most of our losses are just Potemkin at the moment. Again, I do not know what round number this would be. I am not like doing math in my head at the moment while trying to fight Potemkin. Ow. Again, if I were to ever like pursue Strive on a more competitive level, I would need to learn matchups. That is ultimately my biggest bane in this game, is that if I can actually learn the matchups, I think I'd be in much better shape, but again, I need to stop running from fights that are annoying. I need to stop being like, oh, I see this person's playing Milia or Axel, so I should just not play them. Or like fight them. Axel is another character who got like really nerfed this time. I still have no clue how to fight Axel, so there's this frustration of like, apparently he's low tier now, I still have no clue how to fight him. Mostly just because I don't deal with zoners well. Alright, good start. Again, I always forget the other moves, which is my other issue with Dizzy, is she has a lot of like zoning tools, and I just never use them. Okay, that was a whiff. That was unfortunate. I'm just kind of throwing at this point. Alright, okay, we need a little bit of space here to set up some stuff. I always forget that's a low. That's another problem I'm having. What's a low and what's a high? Yeah, I just threw that away, basically. You know, there's a feeling I get when streaming, and it's a really weird feeling. Normally I don't get very frustrated at games. When I get frustrated at games, it's content-based. It's like, if I'm just stuck on the same fight for like 7 rounds, that's when I start getting frustrated with a game. Not the inherent that I'm losing to the AI like this, because if I'm playing on my own time, I don't really care. But it's like, if I'm streaming, then I feel bad about it, because it's like, we're just stuck on this fight for like 15 minutes now. And so there's a sort of feeling of like guilt, I guess, in a way of like, oh, well, I'm not like being particularly entertaining, just losing this fight over and over.
Mankind knew that they cannot. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Again, there is an inherent difficulty in trying to play a game and commentate at the same time because your attention is split. Like, a lot of times, I feel like people get a lot of crap for not being, like, fully tuned into a game, and it's actually really hard to do that. Like, it's really hard to focus on both and, like, succeed at both really well. And I think it's a really underrated skill, to be honest, that definitely, I think, is underestimated until you actually try, like, streaming and, like, try to have to talk over a game and also play at the same time. I am having a lot of fun with Dizzy in general though, and again, even if this is just an AI, I am essentially having to learn this matchup to some extent, though obviously the exact way the matchup plays out is not going to be the same with an actual person versus an AI. Okay, we have tension, but that's bad. Okay. Okay, that whiff. That's very good for us. What if we just zone for a bit? The problem is how much, like, everything breaks if you take damage. Which is very easy when he has, like, a full screen move, basically. That was potentially very dumb, and I somehow didn't pay for my insolence or hubris there. I was hoping that'd be enough to kill, but unfortunately wasn't. I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna take any chances there. Alright, so that sucked. We were on that fight for a long time. I have no clue how long that was time-wise. Alright, let's hope stage 6 goes a little bit better than that. Let's see who we're fighting. Oh good, it's May. We're gonna be here for a bit too, I think. Again, I'm not good at the main matchup, which is gonna cause problems. So it's definitely one I'm avoiding learning, but I actually need to get better at. It's like if I want to be able to fight a May main, I'm probably gonna have to learn this at some point though. Also a cute little reunion if you think about it. I do think it's actually a missed opportunity giving Dizzy and May a custom round intro, given how much history these two characters have. Okay, I don't know why I won that trade, but I will take it. Yeah, this was the fight that walled me on, like, my personal run. I got stuck here for a long-ass time, so I'm expecting to be here for a little bit. May's just, like, a really fast character. Can definitely lay down a lot of offense at once, and can be very overwhelming to try to deal with. Like that, and she can just kind of kill you, and they kind of buffed a lot of her damage. They also slowed down a lot of her attacks, too, so... yeah, she can just kind of obliterate your health if she wants to, and just not let up. So with Dizzy, who's like a setup character, I think, she's not really a good matchup for this. If I were to actually get into Strive on a competitive level, I'd probably have to learn another character on top of Dizzy, just because I don't know if she could win this matchup very well.
Mankind knew that they
Alright, attempt number 2 of May. Again, oddly enough, I have a feeling the actual boss of this route might go a little bit better than all the fights leading up to it, just because that's how my personal run went. Again, this is just a particularly poor matchup, I think. I'd like to force a burst at some point, but so far she's not having any trouble keeping up with me as is, which is concerning. Again, I forgot that the 2H is a OTG. I really need to remember that, because that would save me a lot of trouble here. Johnny's the captain. Ow. Ow. Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to do in the corner like this? Yeah, like Johnny's the leader of the Jellyfish Pirates. See, like, I'm not super into Guilty Gear lore, but again, May is a character who intersects with the character I care about, if that makes sense, so I know a bit about May's lore. Again, this is how my brain works, where it's like, if a character intersects with a character that I like, I have to learn about this character by proxy. Essentially, I don't know if that sounds bad or not.
mankind knew that
Alright, attempt number 3 was going okay, so maybe we do stand a chance here if we can actually get some momentum going. I'm really bad at that follow-up, the heavy slash Mikhail sword after the wall stick. That's definitely something I need to get better at with the timing of it. But ow, that did like 40%. Okay, force the burst, and we still have ours, which is putting us in a very good spot, thankfully. Kinda just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, unfortunately, which is partly on me. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This might kill, actually. Okay, that was an interesting interaction there. Super still went off, even though we took her out before it actually finished the animation. I should have used Heavy Slash. I shouldn't have used the Slash version of Mikhail's sword. Alright, well, I almost got it perfect. That would've been an interesting way to send off this round, but... Oh, okay, so that just interrupts the super. Cool. Ow. Wings of Light won't help because she had like 1 pixel of health left. It'd just be a waste because then I'd have to stall for 10 seconds to actually wait for it to go off. And I don't even know if it kills, actually. I like never use Wings of Light unless I accidentally input the, accidentally do the input. Oh yeah, we made it to stage 7, so that means we get a special fight.
Here comes Daredevil.
So if you're on Extreme, you get a rival fight of sorts with a specific character, so Gold Lewis shows up again. We'll have to see how this goes.
Mankind knew that they cannot
Again, we have to basically avoid taking damage, because everything else will fall apart very quickly. And Disney is very pretty. I love her design in this game.
versus Gold Lewis.
危険だと申し上げたはずです。お帰りください。
問題ないとお伝えしました。お見せしましょう。
Duel 1. Let's rock.
So yeah, Disney can kind of take care of herself, I think. You need to prove it. I am getting better at that, but lag is gonna cause problems online. Again, like I said earlier, if we take any damage from Gold Lewis, everything will fall apart very fast. So now I am in recovery mode of trying to salvage this. I mean, that's one way to salvage this. This super takes 100 tension, but does like 60% or something ridiculous. So like, it does the same amount as Wings of Light, but more condensed, and you don't have to wait as much. It also does a ridiculous amount of chip damage if you don't faultless defense through it. So I just would prefer to spend the gauge elsewhere than Wings of Light. I just think Wings of Light is a waste of energy, because except for very specific setups, there are just better applications through like Roman Cancel or like supers. I have seen Wings of Light setups that actually work, and they're really cool, but again, it's just like, in an actual match, you're never gonna get that to actually land. Just, it's too impractical. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That might kill, actually. We're alive, but very barely. I need to be very careful here. That's not what I call being very careful. Yep, that was just me botching it at the end. We're still beholden to that rule, by the way. We have to not lose either round, so we have to throw this. But again, throwing to Gold Lewis at least isn't that bad, because he can just drain your health instantly anyway. So it's like, it's not gonna take very much time to throw here, just because of just his absurd damage output. Let's see, 10 seconds have elapsed, and we're already at like no health, and yeah, that took less than 15 seconds to just throw the match. So at least with the two characters in particular that we're having issues with, we're not having to spend too much time.
Mankind knew that.
Alright, let's just cut to the chase here. Hope this fight goes a little bit better this time. Alright, that was a very good start, but again, last time was also a good start. It's a fun story. I actually wanted to get the achievement as Bridget for a long time, but I ended up getting stuck at the stage 8 fight because that fight's against Kai, and I am really bad at that matchup with any character, basically. So yeah, I just got stuck in the fight forever and never actually did it, so I just kind of bided my time, essentially. I do not know, because I have not actually studied the lyrics of this particular song. I actually like Kiss of Death a lot, though. It's, again, I did a whole like music tier list last time, and put this one pretty high in A, I think, because this is actually like one of my preferred like DLC themes, I'd say. The DLC themes in general have been kind of like really good in general. Again, I'm obviously biased and partial to Dizzy's theme, but again, like Elfelt and A.B.A also have really good themes. I was actually listening to Sin's theme because I saw a comment about it, and yeah, it actually incorporates both Holy Orders and Avshi, both. Like in one ear it's playing Holy Orders, and the other it's playing Avshi. It's a really cool detail for Sin specifically. Again, all the little callbacks are nice. Gold Lewis's theme obviously is a little bit drier in that regard because there can't be any callbacks.
一つお伺いしたい。
何なりと。
あなたは女王としての責務を負いながら、しかし子としてのあり方を変えようとなさらない。なぜですか。上に立つ者として苦しい選択でしょう。
どうしてどちらかを選ぶ必要があるのでしょうか。あり方を立場で変えることはありません。心とはそういうものでしょう。
いかなる状況でもそれを貫くと。
自分を自分たらしめるのはその意志ですから。私はどんな時でも皆さんと共に泣いたり笑ったりしたいんです。
為政者としての言葉とは思えませんな。だからこそ皆があなたの周りに集まる。そこから世界は変わっていくのでしょうな。
And now we have the fun part. We have to fight A.B.A now. Stage 8 typically is supposed to be the end, but if we get through this fight without losing either round, we can get to stage 9. I would like to show the stage 9 fight and get bodied by that most likely, but first we have to get through this. A.B.A.'s not too bad though, I feel, because of her gimmick.
Versus A.B.A. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, so we jump straight into the fight this time. We also have Crawl playing, which is a very good boss theme in my opinion. But A.B.A.'s gimmick is obviously Jealous Rage, so we kind of just need to burn it. Try to stay away as much as we can, wait until it ends, and then unleash as much damage as we can to make sure the fight doesn't go on too long before she can re-enter it. A.B.A. is pretty, but also like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, sort of, she's such a fascinating character. Again, like, the characters sort of have history established, and I don't know exactly if it's just building off of, like, accent core, or if there's, like, more to it. But, like, they definitely talk to each other in this game like they know each other, which is just very interesting. And again, it's just kind of interesting contrasting, like, the most wholesome couple in the series, and A.B.A. being one of the more, like, not wholesome couples in the series with Paracelsus. There's like an ancient warrior whose body is sealed inside a key or something. I ain't taking any chances here. We are down in health right now. I'd rather not have to do this fight more than I have to. Again, we'll probably have to do the stage 9 fight multiple times, so we're just gonna overkill this one. Yeah, I love Dizzy's story in this game, because it's very simple, and again, it's very disconnected from the main story, but it's just a very good culmination of her character. Alright, good start. I do that, like, that starter too much. I need to mix it up more. That's on me. Alright, got the freeze. Alright, good start. But, however, with A.B.A., if she gets into Jealous Rage, everything can fall apart very fast, so... like so, actually. Again, I had a feeling this would happen. Good old-fashioned streamer curse of... This gave me no trouble off-screen. Now that I'm actually trying to stream, it's giving me a lot of trouble. Oh, that's bad. That'll kill, probably. Nope. Jealous Rage version would have killed. For sure. Alright, good start to that exchange. We got the freeze again. So, we might be okay. We're not okay. Well, at least I kind of have the pattern down to some extent, so I can think of worse starts to this, but again, it might take a few tries just because I'm trying to split attention like this. It's kind of interesting seeing characters that haven't been around for a bit, and A.B.A.'s one, because like, if you actually think about it, because of Overture, not counting different versions of Accent Core, that game was like 2009, I think. So it'd been like 15 years since she showed up in a mainstream, or like a mainline Guilty Gear. So it is actually really cool in my opinion seeing characters who have barely been in the series for ages pop up after a long time like this.
Mankind knew that they cannot change.
Alright, attempt number 2 of this fight. Again, I have a feeling this is gonna take a few tries. Oh, that doesn't pop up if you are frozen. So that is very good to keep in mind. Yeah, Jealous Rage is a very interesting mechanic, which we'll also be seeing a lot of next fight as well. The other thing is, with Jealous Rage, is we will have to adapt a bit next time, but also we don't have to worry about dying anymore, because if we're on the final stage, we don't have to worry about a situation of like dropping down to hard mode anymore. We can just lose around and we'll be fine if we can get through this fight. I love how her tail is like a narwhal now. It's such a specific detail, and again, it's why I wish they had done more interaction-wise between May and Dizzy, because I almost feel like that is a callback, but the story doesn't do anything with it. It's really frustrating sometimes what the story does and doesn't capitalize on in terms of like external media and like establishing connections between characters. I'm just basically out zoning her at this point, trying to like chip away at her. Well, we got burst, so that's something. Oh, that didn't connect. That's bad. Yeah, we're dead. Okay. Again, this was first try in my personal run. Should have seen this coming. But again, A.B.A.'s another character where it's like, at least we don't have to like sit around too long when it comes to like restarting, because she can definitely decimate her health very quickly, especially in Chalice Rage. Alright, attempt number 3. Alright, I definitely am not playing the best though, in all fairness. I'm like forgetting moves a lot. So again, it's partly on me for just not playing the best at the moment. Okay, that was good. I need to remember to use fish more. Why isn't it going off? Okay. I'm using a DualSense. I said this before, I think. The D-pad is notoriously bad on the DualSense, so I'm having a lot of misinputs. And like, as I'm like focusing more, I notice I have way more misinputs, so... Again, it's part of the reason why I'm like, maybe I should get a better controller if I'm like gonna dedicate serious time to like fighting games, because this D-pad is just kind of unacceptable for like Guilty Gear. Alright, good start. Again, we're gonna be using Gamma Ray quite a bit, I think, just to speed up rounds to get through them faster. Use a Wiimote. That seems like a terrible idea. That didn't kill, that is the problem. This will. I have an M30 from 8-bit though, but for some reason I feel like it doesn't work very well for this game. I also have a lot of dropped inputs on it for some reason. Oh, that's bad. Immediately into Jealous Rage. But luckily it trained really fast. That didn't freeze. That did. What happened there? It looked like she went to Jealous Rage and immediately dropped out of it or something? Yeah. Ow, okay. Again, this is the boss, so I shouldn't be surprised that I'm actually having trouble. I should be more surprised I didn't have trouble on like my practice or like my personal run. Again, it's almost surprising I got through it first try more than anything, because I should be like expecting this one to be difficult. I was trying to use 2H, it wasn't working. Again, I think this controller is just really bad for this game, unfortunately. But again, it's like, what are the options? It's like really expensive, like premium controllers that are $200. Like people say the DualSense Edge is actually really good for fighting games. The other problem I have is I have dash set to R2, but because it's an analog trigger, it doesn't go off until you actually do a full press, basically. It's actually more like a half press, like for R2, which means dashes sometimes feel a little inconsistent the way I have it set up. By default, it's actually on L3, but I actually don't really care for that setup. That's a personal preference thing. I think L3, like, trying to click in the stick. Your woman-loving heart doesn't know where on screen to look. Why not both? See, like, I'm not sure if A.B.A's, like, my type in terms of characters. I'm not sure even how to describe, like, why she isn't, to be honest. And that sucks. Yeah, basically I'm using the analog stick now, because the D-pad was just whiffing so bad on inputs, and I would like to not struggle too much on this fight. Yeah, the trade-off is, when she's not in Jealous Rage, she's very slow. So you basically have to prioritize getting into Jealous Rage, and then basically winning the fight as soon as possible, because if you give your opponent any time to drain the meter, you're kinda dead, so... There we go, that's a clean hit. Alright, good start to this match. But again, it's a case of we get to listen to Crawl a bunch, which again is probably one of my favorite boss themes in the series, actually. A lot of characters don't really have boss themes. Again, like, Dizzy herself actually doesn't have a boss theme in X. Yuna has a boss theme, and I actually don't know about Xrd because of the way the story mode works, if there is a dedicated boss theme, since it's just kind of like variable of who you actually end up fighting. That's gonna hurt, even without Jealous Rage. Oh, I was hoping that would combo, but it didn't. Yeah, the AI likes to switch off of Jealous Rage a lot more than like a human player would, which is very interesting. Ow. Alright. Managed to get that to work. Yellow RC. But we are in bad shape at the moment, so... I don't entirely know what the best strat would be to getting through this fight. Trying to outzone, hope she screws up, basically. Oh, that was bad. That was a really bad whiff. I could have easily have died there. Alright, that was almost good. Who died there? I think it was me. Yeah, I died there. So yeah, if you actually, like, don't care about achievements, I don't really recommend doing this, to be honest. This is just kind of painful. Not necessarily the worst, obviously. Like, trying to get Order Soul would probably be really bad in Accent Core, but like, in terms of, you know, hidden fights, I also feel like Dizzy has the easiest route from what I've seen so far, just because, you know, A.B.A and Gold Lewis aren't characters I particularly have a problem fighting.
Mankind knew that they cannot change. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I do feel like I'm prone to jinxing, unfortunately, so me thinking this fight would be really easy is definitely my downfall. If I was like, oh yeah, this fight's like the hardest fight in the game, I don't know if we'll get through this because I'm really bad at it, then I probably would have gotten it like first try. Like the run where I was thinking of like struggle a bunch and then didn't, like, like on my personal run where I thought it would take forever, I got like first try because I wasn't expecting it to be first try. It's like reverse psychology of this. Oh, that hurt. I need to use the ice move more. That's the other thing I'm forgetting. She can freeze the ground, which would actually be really good against A.B.A because she charges so much. I always forget Ice Field because it's new. I haven't used it a single time. I do apologize if this stream has just not been the best though, just because I am literally stuck in a loop for most of it. Just like fighting the same enemies over and over again, just trying to get the best stage.
Man. Duel 1. Let's rock.
The problem is I'm not really getting a lot of freezes, in which case I don't really want to use Ice Field because there's a risk of like leaving myself open. I actually used it for once and it didn't really help at all. Alright. Ow, okay, so that is involved. That's good to know. And immediately burst out of it. Alright, good. I almost botched it there. I was trying to do Mikhail's sword, but it just used regular heavy slash for some reason, which still worked, counting the wall break, but that was almost very scary. Very much could have gone very poorly, quickly. Yeah, basically if you get hit while she's in Jealous Rage, you're just kinda screwed. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do if you don't have Burst. And it feels like weird to be like, just don't get hit, but that's kind of like the ticket with A.B.A, is just don't get hit. Just buy time. That didn't kill, but we're in very bad shape. Yeah, we weren't getting through that because we had no health. Again, like the other Guilty Gears we played on stream, I stuck with beginner. I didn't even play normal except for Xrd. So like this is the first time on stream I've gone for like max difficulty for an arcade run. In retrospect, I almost wish I hadn't, to be honest. I wish I had just stuck with hard mode, potentially, just for the sake of not being, like, stuck on this for, like, an hour.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
I also feel like it's a reflection of just not necessarily knowing what to do in situations, and also not varying up my moveset enough. Basically not, like, using RC enough, not using, like, lows enough. And it's also really hard when you're fighting an AI who can, like, get around your inputs in a way that, you know, a human wouldn't actually be able to get around. Okay, that's gonna send her out of Jealous Rage, but straight back into it. That's gonna kill. Barely not. Okay. That was not a dash, because it took it as a down input for some reason. Again, I'm mostly just fighting the controller at this point, because it's not taking my inputs the way I want them to. That was a risk that should not have paid off, but it did. I should not have RC'd there, I should have followed through, but it somehow worked out. That's an overhead of some sorts. That was definitely blocking and it still hit. That was not close enough to RC. Okay. Ow. Okay, that was a bad read there. I should not have tried to set that up. Barely not fast enough to freeze on that. Okay, I should have followed through with sword. Finally made it through.
ごきげんよう。ビアラティアの女王様。
アバさん、お久しぶりですね。体調はいかがですか？
君が眩しいせいで辛い。何も巻き込まれたくない。ご無沙汰でさよなら。
待ってください。
放っておいて。
できません。そんな顔の方を放っておくなんて。
But we're not done yet, because we have a harder fight with A.B.A. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this goes. I struggled a lot with the last one, and again, this one's second try on my personal run, so we'll have to see how well this goes.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, straight into it, and she starts in Jealous Rage, and it doesn't drain on its own, and basically only drains when she takes damage or like we burst. Which makes her extraordinarily dangerous, and basically the key is to win the fight fast enough for her to not go back into Jealous Rage. So we're just like gonna throw that round entirely at this point. This is kind of how it went for my personal run, where I just immediately got curb stomped, like no attempt to get through worked. This is a really pretty stage, by the way. Basically, if we can get a freeze, that puts us in a very good position to knock her out of Jealous Rage. Until then, we are basically just gonna get bodied, so... Again, a very interesting set of mechanics. When's the stage tier list? I actually don't know what my favorite stage would be. It might be this actually, or like Asuka's is really cool. Finally forced her out of it, but we are not doing great health-wise, so we have to make up a lot of ground in a not long amount of time because she's already quickly regaining health. Alright, good start. And threw it away, okay. We were doing okay, but almost brought it back, but just kind of whiffed at the end.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Basically, if you can set it up that you're able to get her out of Jealous Rage like ASAP, the fight's really not that bad. Again, and I almost feel like that alone makes her less of a problem than, say, Nago. Like, Nago, I would say Kai is also still very difficult. Though partly just because Bridget's such a low damage character, I think. It just puts her in a really bad position to actually, like, get through Kai's offense, essentially. But again, most characters end up fighting Nago, and I kind of wish there was a way to fight level 9 Nago with anyone. That's like a bummer thing in this game. I didn't mean to super there, I meant to like set up an RC. That's on me for misinput, but we can just do this. Slightly anticlimactic way to finish that round, but oh well, I'll take it. She also has burst back, which is not good. Also, we barely got her before Jealous Rage charged back up. That was very close. Wild Assault, so... Got the freeze though. I was trying to use Fish, but it wasn't going off, unfortunately. Again, this D-pad is not the best, I feel. We almost have Burst back, so I don't know when to use it though. Again, she's almost out of Jealous Rage, so it might be better to hold on to it. Case in point. That's bad. That's really bad. Okay, recovery. And we have a problem. Alright. This is stupid. I should not have gone away with that. That was like really poorly set up, but I got away with it. So we got a very nice way to finish out this round. So I actually really like Dizzy's ending. It's kind of interesting having a bonding with A.B.A, because they're like... There are similarities there, but they're also very different, obviously. But in terms of like, she's a half-gear, A.B.A is a homunculus. Again, the contrast of these two characters I think is really interesting. Also the couple dynamic, because you have, you know, again, one of the most like wholesome cis couples in the game, and then you have like one of the most toxic cis couples in the game, and one of the other difficulties, like Dizzy says something like, stop using your husband as a tennis racket, or like stop swinging your husband around like a tennis racket, which is just a very good line. And again, the story does vary slightly depending on which route you're on. Whatever is canon is obviously up for debate, because we don't know where they're gonna go from here, but I do like this dynamic, especially since both originated from like that era. Though A.B.A was a game later. She was an double X slash. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. She was a bonus character in double X slash, which was Japan only. Ended up being added into Guilty Gear Isuka as a major new character, sort of, even though she was sort of already in the game. and then was a huge part of the marketing also for Accent Core. Again, I remember she was on the cover and was actually part of the reason I didn't play Accent Core, because seeing like this, you know, bloody woman on the cover is like, I don't know how to feel about this game. Here I am hyperfixating about it like 10 years later. That'd be like 15 years later from that point. It's been 10 years. I found my old like PlayStation account and looked up my trophies. And yeah, it dates to like 2014. So yeah, I've been playing Guilty Gear for a decade officially. Yeah, it's like this sort of like there's sort of the joke about like Strive is the game where everyone gets their like lives together and they're just kind of like enjoying peace. And I feel like that's a very interesting approach, and it makes me wonder what they're doing next. But obviously, I feel like this game is inherently setting up sort of a next generation setting, because, for example, spoilers for the story mode, but like Soul doesn't have powers anymore, so I think he'll still be playable because he's still very strong. But I wonder how his moveset would be without like the same powers. And then yeah, meanwhile Kai has Dragon install, but there's sort of the theory that they're kind of positioning a next generation with Elphelt, Ram, and Sin as like new characters, like with Sin being a focal point of the anime coming out soon. Also, whatever story they're setting up with the new character, Unica, which we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Again, it felt good to finally get the final achievements I was missing in Strive. This is a game that means a lot to me. Dizzy's a character that means a lot to me. So, like, part of the reason I wanted to get the achievement with Bridget, 2 years ago, was because she's a character that means a lot to me. So it was nice to be able to do that eventually, just with a different character. That was one of my favorites, and despite the obvious immediate comparison to Bridget that could be made, I do think in a lot of ways Dizzy is a character I more strongly connect with in some ways. Again, going from half gear on the run, trying to hide out, into being the queen of the kingdom and beloved, but also trying to still make a difference, and that kindness carrying throughout no matter what she's gone through. I think it's a very poignant story that kind of hits close for me personally. And again, that's part of the reason I like Radiant Dawn so much as a song, because the lyrics hit close. Yeah, that is the final main series arcade mode for the Guilty Gear series. I don't know what we'll do with Guilty Gear going forward. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a new game someday, but I don't know if I'm gonna, like, stick with the series going forward. If I have to wait another, 4 seasons for Dizzy, if she's in, the core roster, maybe I'll jump in faster and reacclimate faster, but I just feel like inherently, some of these games are a little bit tough to get into because of, in this case, having to find a new main, and in which case, that just kind of made me wait for my old main to eventually come in. And she's really fun. I know that wasn't the best showcase for her, just because I kept forgetting moves because I was panicking and trying to commentate. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So now what is a very good question that I do not have an answer to. It's like, do y'all want to try to set up a lobby or something? Or should I try to set up a lobby? Should I play ranked? It's like, I can set up something. Though I've never actually done this before. I haven't really played with friends very much, to be fair. So it might be a fun opportunity to. I would actually kind of like to set up things more. I kind of, for a while, because in connection to Proton John, there's all the leagues, like the Splatoon League, the Smash League, those two mainly. I've jokingly tossed out the idea of what if there was a Guilty Gear League, but I don't think I would be up to task for actually organizing such a thing. So it's just one of those maybe someday, because again, it would be kind of nice to get into the series more on a competitive level. But again, I do feel like I'm in a weird position where it's like, again, my skill level at this game is in a really weird no man's land where I still don't entirely know. Oh, you uninstalled. Okay, that's fine. I just want to quickly jump into training mode, just cause like, I was practicing a lot of stuff last night and proceeded to forget most of it when I was actually trying to play arcade mode, which is kind of a bummer. But like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with this character. But yeah, the one move I kept forgetting the most was Ice Field, which basically allows you to like slide, and also is very helpful because if you knock down your opponent, they can't tech out of it, which can be very helpful for some things. Like setup-wise. Again, I always forget that the 2H is like an OTG, so it hits on the ground. That would really help me out if I could remember that, but I keep forgetting. I also found a mod. I don't want to restart the game though and sit through all the setup again. I found a mod where someone recolored Dizzy to give her an outfit similar to Yuna from Final Fantasy X, which was just like, okay, now I have to download this. Again, I wanted to do this at least unmodded for the most part. That was just one of those where it's like, what are the odds of this happening? It's like, I feel like I need to use this mod if I play online. But again, mods don't actually show up online very much. As long as they're not like affecting movesets or anything, mods are fine to use online, and it's like locally stored. And it's like, I was gonna play Disney anyway, but just the odds of her getting a Yuna costume was like, what are the odds? But again, part of me wants to jump on ranked, but I'll get absolutely bodied. And again, I don't know if enough people are around to like... set up a lobby, but I'm just trying to think. I also might do this if I play online, just hide usernames, just in case. But again, if y'all want to play, that's cool with me. Again, I've never actually done this before. Am I using color 6? Is that right? I think that's right. Alright, first to 2, that's usually what I go with. It doesn't... just in case, we need to rotate out. ID... I don't know, like that. Oh, you can only do like 6 characters, that's fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very easy password there. I have done nothing with customization, by the way. Also, my Dizzy is level 66. This is after 5 days. Again, I've been playing a normal amount of Guilty Gear Strive on my own time. I'm currently at floor 7. I'm like, again, slightly hyperfixated. I am 1 away from, I think, the next badge here. 30 minutes? Oh, is that how long it's gonna take to install? If your internet is nice, okay. We might just move on to something else at some point, then. I don't know. But again, I'm down to play whenever, when you have it reinstalled. Yeah, I really need to do more, but I'm just trying to unlock music, mostly, and I keep getting costumes or fish. I like how the costume has variants, so, I could switch to Ring Racers, because we were doing that as like a bonus follow-up kind of game to other playthroughs. Yeah, you know what? I think we will switch over to that. But again, if people are down to play at some other time, I'm often available to play, so hit me up, basically. Actually, really quickly, I do want to show off this mod because, again, it just feels like it's meant to be. I need to make sure I don't turn on let's see. There's also, I have a lot of mods installed. We'll go with this one. I think that's the right one. But again, I just want to show this off because it's so fascinating how this worked out. Do I want to show off anything else? Again, real quickly, assuming everything doesn't break, which it might. It didn't even drop frames that time, that was nice. Sometimes it drops frames just from starting up the game, so very convenient. And now we have to sit through this again. But yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying the stream so far, even though it was very, like, scuffed. I thought I could get through the arcade mode a lot smoother than I did. So I'm a little bit like, man, I practiced so much for this, and I still kind of botched it because the AI was just being unpredictable. Yeah, we kind of reached the end of this, like, Guilty Gear playthrough, which is an interesting feeling. I also just put in another mod just because I wanted to show it off because it's fun. But this one specifically goes over color 10. But I also want to quickly show Sin because, yeah, there's actually like a flag mod for Sin, which is very good. There's a lot of mods for this game. Yeah, it's like, she's got the little flower pattern, she's got the color scheme, the one problem I have with this mod is I don't think they gave her the heterochromia. Like, I think both her eyes are blue, at least from what I can tell. I kinda wish they had made one eye green. That's like the one flaw I have, like one criticism I have of this mod. Otherwise, I really love this. You also have, her tail is themed around Bahamut from Final Fantasy X. Undyne is based on Shiva, and Necro is based on Ifrit. Also, we need to show our taunt, actually, because this is a really good taunt. But it might take a bit to actually get, because there's two variations of it. One with Necro and one with Undyne. And I should have known my luck with this. Come on, game. There we go. She's so cute, though. It's like, I just really love this character. I don't know why, it's just, this character just resonates with me so much in a way that's, like, hard to quite put into words, I suppose. There's this sort of feeling of, like, I guess there's a relatability to her arc and everything, but I also just feel like, especially in Strive, she's so pretty in this game. She's very gender, for lack of a better descriptor. I still want to do something someday where people submit characters and I just do like a smash or pass stream, but it's just gender or not gender. But here's the thing, most characters are like pretty gender. Even characters that aren't gender for me, it's like, yeah, no, I can respect that kind of a thing. But again, it's just one of those like pipe dream kind of things of like, maybe someday I'll get around to actually adding that. I think I added commands, but I can't remember what they were, to be honest. Yeah, I just want to show that off. Again, very, like, coincidental, but also very, like, self-indulgent for me, very personally. Though, again, like I said before, the name Yuna doesn't necessarily come solely from the Final Fantasy character. I was mostly just trying to find Korean names. And one name that came up was Yuna, and I'm like, oh, well, that works out. Two birds with one stone, basically, because then you can have the Korean name and significance, and you can have the Final Fantasy X significance. So again, 10 isn't even my favorite game. My favorite Final Fantasy is actually Brain, please. Final Fantasy 9. Which again is very like ironic despite how like Yuna themed I feel like I am. There we go. We're not using full screen mode this time just because it was causing problems last time. I also need to switch the game over. I'm a very organized streamer. Is it Ring Racers or Ring Riders? I can never remember. Ring Racers. Alright, there we go. How's the model looking? Am I still centered? We'll give that a quick kick there, just to make sure. Alright, I'm also using a different controller this time. I'm using a PS5 controller still, because we just got done with Strive, for the sake of the YouTube bod. US Center, thank you. Oh, good. Local play, I am not brave enough to do online yet. Grand Prix, relaxed, because I'm getting bodied as is, and we're going to attempt... We'll probably do the next 2 cups. So I guess first up is the Spring Cup. Popcorn Workshop. Again, apparently this is a Sega Sonic popcorn maker reference, or at least I hope it is. I also need to remember the controls, because again, I'm using a very different controller this time. Okay, so that is boost. Or use rings at least. What is drift on this? It's R2? Okay. This is a lot to take in right off the bat. I am mildly overwhelmed looking at this. It's not bad by any means, it's just there's a lot going on in the background. Something I find really fascinating as a topic is readability. I thought spray paint can, we'll go for that another time, I guess. I'm also playing in a much smaller window because, again, full screen was causing problems last time, so we'll hope this works a little bit better. I also need to remember to actually use rings. Yeah, the main thing I'm really struggling with is getting used to drifting, just because the mechanics feel so, like, you lose so much speed drifting in this game. What? Okay. Someone hit a switch, apparently. Okay, that sucks. Again, I should probably play actual Robo Kart 2 at some point, or Robo 2 Kart, to just get a feel for this a little bit better, instead of like what I'm doing now, which is just throwing myself into the deep end of the pool. This is stupid, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm curious. Now we have the fun task of like trying to catch back up, but again, we're on relaxed, it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, Melsong just drove into that, cool. Again, I want to play as Blaze, but she's unlocked super late into the game to my knowledge, so we're sticking with Amy for now. Again, I was really hoping at some point we'd end up with a situation where, where you could be cool and awesome and like you and not play. Weren't you just talking about Mario Kart like earlier tonight? I never went on that rant, by the way. I talked about it like in passing, but I never went on the full rant about it. Okay, that does not work. It was worth a try, I suppose. But yeah, it's always interesting with like skill-based games, like trying to find a balance. Why am I like, why is there smoke coming out of there? You said I'd be better? Oh, true. Wait, what? This is a 4-lap course, huh? Why is this 5 laps? Okay. That just kind of sank in right now, like... Like, did I set something wrong in options, or is this just a 5-lap course normally? I mean, it's fine, I can check after, but again, this one might just be 5 laps. Like, genuinely. I just was not paying enough attention last time. Ow. Yeah, again, it's like a weird thing where it's like, it feels like I'm bragging sometimes when I'm like, talking about my skill levels in games, so that's kind of why I avoid doing it sometimes. Again, it's sort of this case of like trying to find games where I feel like I'm at a compatible skill level with friends. It can prove surprisingly difficult, just because of like discrepancies, and like some people are really good at some games and not as good at others, and I tend to awkwardly fall in the middle of like every game I've ever tried to play with friends. Again, I talked about this a little bit during the start of the setup of the previous game, but again, Smash is the big one, where it's like I never could find a group that was like at a good skill level. Like at my skill level was always like slightly above or below, in a way that just always led to everyone kind of having a bad time. It's like I feel like that's kind of my issue right now, with like me grinding at Guilty Gear as much as I am, where it's like Peter in chat, if you try to play me in Strive, like, I know we've played before, but I do wonder how that'd go, especially now that I've been, like, actively practicing at the level I currently am. And again, it's, like, really hard to talk about this and not make it sound like I'm just bragging, which is why I'm, like, I do apologize if I'm being a jerk about this. Like, the way I'm coming off with this. Alright, that went really well, but now we have to deal with the rival system, which is very notorious in this game. Our rival is someone. I can brag as a treat, thank you. Alright. This is not intuitive, by the way. I have, like, triangle as boost. I should really move that. Not that there's a better place to put it, unfortunately. I need to actually play regular Robo Blast too, as well. That was a weird sentence because I was starting to say 2 as in T-O-O, but then I realized, oh yeah, I don't really want to play regular Robo Blast, I just want to play Robo Blast 2, so I need to actually specify both. That paint can is very high up, I do not know how to get that. I also don't know what the heck I'm doing with my voice today. I feel like I'm not putting effort in to like my voice at all today. I'm like in a weird position with voice training where it feels like I'm relatively like comfortable with my voice in a lot of ways. But sometimes I definitely like lose resonance or like lose like, what am I trying to say? I kinda like forget about resonance a lot. The Fops does indeed sound like a Fops, okay. I also feel like it's weird that I'm like very able to do this, but then like talking and voice calls still feels very scary. And it's like I don't know what's different between being in a voice call and like talking on a stream. I guess direct feedback is one thing. Ow. Hey, remember what I said about the rival system? Yeah, this is going interestingly so far. Live feedback, yeah, ow. I feel like I'm weird when it comes to chat interaction on streams, because, like, I keep glancing back and forth a lot, and I realize I'm causing myself problems by not looking at the screen at all times. Especially in a racing game, I should probably be looking at the screen more than I am. But I like talking to y'all, so... Oh, that's bad, I think. Boost, I guess. This is lap 4, so... Again, maybe I accidentally set 5 laps or something? I genuinely do not remember. But yeah, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to focus on resonance, and I'm kind of tuning out everything else, which I realize is kind of, like, not the best thing. I should also be thinking more about pitch, to be honest. Oh, these just R5, okay. Thank you. Again, so many of my friends are super into ring racers. It's part of the reason I keep wanting to get into it is because, well, FOMO, for one thing. And also just because people have been praising it so much. It's, like, really popular. And yeah, it's just got a nice vibe to it, to be honest. I'm really enjoying the effort put into it. And again, like I said before, I almost wouldn't be surprised if someday people try to make these actual zones in like a 2D Sonic game or something. Alright, what is the gimmick of this stage? You'll be a contrarian and say it's bad? Okay. Where the heck am I going? Oh, this is like weird. I also don't have any items apparently. That did not lob. There we go. Like, this song just has a nice vibe to it. It feels very, like, Sonic, even though it's original, as far as I know. Some of these are lifted from other games, though. I just don't know which ones are or not. That was just me being dumb. I should not have lobbed it. There we go. Oh, I can miss again. That's fine, too. A lot of the song picks are pretty good so far, from what I've heard. See, like, a lot of times I feel like I just try to be mindful of resonance, but I don't really pitch my voice up. If I tried to pitch my voice up, I guess it would kind of sound more like this, but I don't know how much I can actually maintain this for a long period of time, or if it sounds remotely natural. So I just kind of, like, go back to my normal pitch a lot of times. Plus, I just went through it with Strive, so I definitely feel like I'm in low energy mode a little bit at the moment. Okay. Sega Rally 2. That is a pull. It's cute either way, thank you. I'm glad y'all like my voice. It's something that I always worry about, because dysphoria, to be somewhat blunt, but just beyond normal dysphoria, I just feel like my voice is not, like, the most pleasant to me. And I just worry about how other people feel about it, I guess. Aw, thanks y'all. I say, like, somewhat with some trepidation as I'm like, I am nervous about this race. A lot can go wrong here. I should not have burned all my rings, for one thing. Sonic's being a big ol' meanie, too. Okay, yeah, I'm really vibing with this. I mean, it said Sega Rally 2, but it's definitely giving, like, Sonic CD. So it's like, yeah, no, this fits. This definitely fits for the vibe they're going for. Yeah, Sonic is right on my tail. Do not like. It's also weird hearing, like, GameCube era. You're playing on relax, so it's okay to not do well. That's true, and I'm also like, when was that? That was after Xrd, right? Weirdly enough, so like, it had to be like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's been a little bit since I played, so I'm trying to like relearn everything. Doing well, oh shoot, Doing well really only matters when you're going for the Chaos Emeralds. That's something I was kind of thinking about, and I also wonder if like modding could potentially get rid of rivals too. Like if you could just mod out the rival difficulty like option. Yeah, this song has a very nice vibe to it for this area. Yeah, now without mods. I'm always impressed by the ingenuity of Sonic fans, though. It's like, I could say something really mean-spirited sounding, but I mean it in, like, total, like, genuineness, but, like... I feel like Sonic fans have been going through it for so long that they definitely do have that, like... that drive to basically make really good Sonic fan works because of just how much like they've like gone through the ringer with quality for some of these games. So it's like, you know, like Triple Trouble 2D or 16-bit is like super impressive. That's one I want to do on stream at some point because everyone raved about that like a couple of years ago. I never got around to it. Even with like Superstars coming out the same year, everyone's like, yeah, Triple Trouble might actually still be the best Sonic game to come out this year, which is kind of, again, just not entirely unsurprising for Sonic. Kind of par for the course in a way. What the hell am I running into? Okay. That's a bad time to have a big, like, you know, screw up right at the very end of this course. Ow. At least it doesn't do damage, it just shrinks you. I feel like Pokemon is kind of in a similar boat in a way. It's like, you know, Infinite Fusion is like very fascinating, and I have a plan for Infinite Fusion, and I don't know when I'll do it. I found a mod that allows you to like, basically every time you catch a Pokemon, it will just give you the Pokemon you specify. So I've thought about doing like, maybe next June, for like Pride Month, I've thought about doing a run where I just have like an all Sylveon team. Like everything is Sylveon. Like of some variation. That'd be fun. Again, my problem is I want to do this like Sylveon only run, but the inherent problem with that is that means I can't play the game normally first to familiarize myself if I don't want to see a lot of variants and get spoiled. This is very Mirage Saloon. And that's not a criticism, that's definitely a compliment. How the hell did Sonic get that far ahead? Like, I feel like the race just started. There wasn't enough time for him to do anything. An all Miss Magius run would be interesting. It's at the point where there's a lot of custom sprites too, because for the longest time, they were just like kind of mashing sprites together in ways that didn't necessarily work. But then like regular, like pixel artists started going through and updating a lot of the sprites to be custom, and a lot of the designs are really like interesting. Wow, I'm getting absolutely bodied. Okay. Just absolutely destroyed here. Like, I feel like a lot of the ones for Sylveon, the customs, just lean into Sylveon having Pride colors, which is part of the reason why I would like to do that for Pride Month specifically, but I've also been very impatient about that. I had another idea I wanted to talk about for a stream concept. Oh shoot, that's bad. But like, just as a general thing, I'm turning 30 next year, and so one thing I was contemplating is doing like a stream series where I just like go through 30 of my favorite games. But the inherent problem is narrowing down those 30 games because I was trying to make the list last night, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can come up with enough. Or if I'm coming up with too many in other cases. wow, we are still in 5th after all of that. We got 2 stars, essentially. We're still in 5th place. Like, this is not great. Well, we caught up to the rival really fast. I don't know how that happened exactly. We'll also get a terrible score because we didn't get first in almost any lap so far. I don't think we got first in any of them. Oh, bad. Oh shoot, that's not a good time for that to happen. See, now I'm wondering if, like, Shadow is in this game, for example. Okay, the game's just out for me right now. Like, everyone's just bullying me at this point. Damn, that sucked, actually. Do you want me to answer that? Sure, but I also forgot what question I asked. All Pokemon games are good except Gen 1 and 2. See, my problem is... Oh, shoot. Did we do so bad that we're having to do this again? Is that what's happening? Shadow, oh, that's the question I asked. Again, I'm like not all here today. But yeah, it makes sense. If Blaze is in, if Silver's in, if Bean the Dynamite is in, I guess it makes sense that Shadow would be here. Because, like, there are some deep cuts as is, so I would hope that Shadow would be in, and Rouge. I'd almost be tempted to play Rouge too, if she unlocks earlier than Blaze. To Rivals of Aether, that's a game I have really weird feelings on. I tried to play it recently, and I actually didn't like it very much, and I came to an interesting realization that I don't really like Smash Bros. Gameplay, and the reason I like Smash Bros. Is to play very specific characters, and just the idea of mashing up IPs the way it is, and so when you actually just do a standalone game that doesn't have that appeal, it's just kind of okay to me. So, like, I recognize the appeal, especially through the modding scene of Rivals of Aether 1, but I didn't really vibe with, like, the overall gameplay of it. There's also something I've learned about, like, multiverses and Nick All-Star Brawl, where it's like, wow, I don't know most of these characters or care about most of these characters. So then when you divorce, like, the gameplay from the cool crossover aspect and just have characters I don't care about, then it's like, wow, this is just kind of like, it exists. It doesn't really feel that great. And, like, Multiverses always has the looming threat of them adding a very specific IP, and that keeps me very much, like, on edge about ever even giving it the time of day, basically. And it's like, if you want to know which IP, it's not a terribly hard guess. Ow, okay. Well, we're doing better than last time. Wake me up when Ed and Eddie gets into multiverses. I've actually never seen most of the cartoons of that era, so, like, I have no clue who would need to get into multiverses to get me to care, to be honest, because I just don't know a lot of, like, WB cartoons or, like, Cartoon Network stuff. Again, I just, like, missed out on a lot of content from that era. And even stuff like Steven Universe that I kind of want to catch up on, I just never have gotten around to. Did I just lap somebody? Well, now I'm suspicious at how well I'm doing. I'm expecting to get the rug pulled out from under me because of how well that went. But we made it. A girl can dream. Yeah. How did I get... Oh wait, we did get all 3 that time. It was just the previous one I really botched for some reason. So now we have another special stage. Rusty Wig. We need items, I guess. Oh, this looks kind of gross, actually, with the conveyor belts. It's like if you take a wrong turn, you're just kind of stuck on that path for a bit. So yeah, we have to be very careful with our shots here. That was dumb. I should have just shot straight forward. Should get this one before going down the hill. You know, another game I really want to play is Pikmin, but I play Pikmin in a way that will frustrate everybody. I like playing Pikmin deathless, and that, again, will result in a lot of restarts, so I'm like, debating about that. Like, can I push aside my need to do perfect runs of Pikmin long enough to be able to actually stream the game? Oh, the item block block the shot. That's not an easy sentence to say. Like, Pikmin 4 would be easy, you can rewind, but like, Pikmin 1 is gonna be obnoxious to try to do deathless on stream. But at least the Switch version gets rid of like crashing glitches and stuff, so... Ooh, Opulence Zone. This whole starting idea is really cool, just like the ability to just bump each other around. Tower of Heaven, Full Moon Revenge, edit. See, I don't know what that is necessarily. My brain goes to Toho, but I don't think that's right, actually. Oh god, huh. Well, this is just a weird pile-up right here. Okay. I need to play a Toho. Again, Tower of Heaven is an old Flash game, that would make sense. Like, I just see, like, it just seems like a Toho name for some reason, but that just makes me think, I need to play a Toho someday. I have Luna Knights, I could do that one. Strive is done, by the way. It's like, do you want to switch back to Strive? Ow, why am I, like, struggling to go down the stairs? Okay, interesting dynamic there. You can just go across the water if you're fast enough, but... stairs bumpy. They really love those Sonic CD lasers, I'm noticing. That's a 25 ring capsule. See, that's the interesting thing about the ring capsules, is you can basically combo them and just keep boosting, like, as long as you want. So like, timing things, so you can just combo boosts with rings. It's like, there's so many interesting mechanics to this. It's almost like an F-Zero game, actually, where it's like, you have the little boost panels that, like, revive, like, your ship, but then you use that to also boost. So it's like, you can boost while you're, Okay, not sure what that's all about. Okay, this is just, yeah, this is a weird stage. I'm kind of digging it, but it's definitely, like, fun seeing how much the AI is also getting tripped up by all the obstacles. Like, they're getting comboed constantly. This is a very good song, actually. That's what I should have done last time. And there's another dash panel, too. Nico has described it as Mario Kart meets F-Zero meets a fighting game meets Ultra Kill. That is like the most specific description I've heard, but that almost seems like accurate. Like, I remember being in like a server one time when Nico was talking about like the weird fighting game mechanics I mentioned in the manual. It's like, huh, that's not something you'd expect to see here, and yet that's also very cool. I guess you could say that's literal drive impact. Was that a paint cannon just drove by and totally didn't acknowledge this entire time? I thought I saw, like, the sparkle of it out of the corner of my eye. I've also never played Ultra Kill. I feel like there are several games in that, like, style, and I'm trying to remember which one it is, actually. But, like, there's sort of been a renaissance of that, like, you know, style of FPS recently. Oh, Knuckles is right there. We need to be a little careful. Oh, that was a waste of rings. Yeah, it gives us, like, excess rings, so it actually pays to keep boosting. Again, it's a really interesting mechanic. That was a flawless race, basically, once we got past, like, the hallway of death at the beginning. That was the first time I actually got through all the courses without, losing any races. So we did mess up one ring bonus, previous race, I think. Just shy of 420 for our time. Yeah, perfect score. It's very interesting trying to learn stages in a racing game like this. I almost feel like Sonic and All-Stars Racing is one of the weirdest to try to learn because of how the stages keep morphing. It's like you think you know the route and it's like, oh, suddenly you're flying or in the water, and it's just slightly disorienting. I just noticed something. I need to try something, actually, after this race. So yeah, we're just shy of like 1 lap bonus and 1 ring bonus. That's kind of a bummer, actually, because we got really close to like a perfect score. I hope there's not like S ranks, but I have a feeling there will be S ranks, knowing this game. Unlock all guest drivers. Oh yeah, we have Bean. I kind of forgot. Again, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks, so... So yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary. I'm just kind of looking though. When it says 100%, does it mean like literally 100%? Something tells me the answer is yes. Like perfect score in every race. That's gonna be a thing to complete. I'm gonna do a thing. Actually... Because I know the general gist of, like, Blaze's unlock requirement is getting a silver medal or winning 100 rounds of silver. So I'm just gonna do, like, a soul read on... Oh, or I can press the wrong button. That works too. So I wanted to test something, actually. Okay, it's not what I thought it would be. Oh, it does! Okay, so to answer, I'm using a DualSense. It changes the light bar of the DualSense changes color depending on what character you're playing. So it was pink when I was playing as Amy. When I switched to Eggman, it changed to red. That's like such a cool attention to detail thing, actually. It's like super impressive. Nope, it's heavy. Okay. Well, it was worth a try. Again, because if I can unlock Blaze, I'd definitely switch to her. But again, something tells me she's gonna be one of the last characters I unlock, because... I know my luck. Like, I know this one isn't because it's tails specifically, it's not silver. So I'm looking for like a question mark specifically. Again, maybe not the best use for key, but I was just curious. And then back to pink. So yeah, that's really cool actually that the light bar adapts to that. Alrighty then, still staying unrelaxed because I'm not brave enough for that yet, but I guess the Barrier Cup is up next. Angel Island Zone. Already an interesting start because it's like the beach at the beginning of Sonic 3. I should have definitely have botched that. I should have not gone through there, but I did. I guess I timed it like frame perfect or something. Because my timer is definitely going down before the game's timer. Or like the lap timer. Yep, this is definitely Angel Island Zone. It's got the vibe down. Ooh, big jump. Okay. Almost fell into the water. That would not have been great. If there's one thing I'm kind of not doing the best at is I'm not drifting enough. I'm like trying not to drift because it slows you down so much. But again, I guess part of the finesse of this game is trying to get used to like knowing when to drift and when to like when it's worth the penalty to speed in order to actually gain speed by drifting. Unless you can use rings to buffer a drift. That works. Very clever. This is just kind of a nice leisurely drive, actually, because the AI is like really far behind at the moment. Gotta save this while it lasts, because something tells me it will not last for long. Oh, now we have... was the laser there before and I just missed it? There's also a dash... No, that's not a dash ring, that's what the laser's attached to and swinging from. This is a nice remix, it's very chill actually. I like how they even simulate like the little tree you run up in the inside of by this section. It's very interesting seeing a traditional level adapt into a race course in 3D no less. Yeah, I think this does feel right, where it's like boosting does work well with drifting. We even had like a speed boost from that. Too chill, 5 out of 10. Oh, I see how it is. Always the critic. I should not have done that. I should have maintained it to pick up rings. Alrighty then. One more lap to go. Metal Sonic is once again, I wouldn't say hot on our heels. He's pretty far back, I'd say. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Well, we're fine. We're not fine. We're definitely not fine. Please recover. High energy coolness, 10 out of 10. Chill lo-fi, 0 out of 10. Interesting. Oh, I missed all those rings. That kinda sucked, actually. We'll pick up a few here, just to top off a ring bonus before the end. Alright, good start. That was a 4-minute course. It's kind of interesting to think about. Like, a single lap in this game is like faster or like longer than certain stations in Sonic Forces, you could argue. That's a game I thought about doing on stream, is Sonic Forces. A lot of it would be spent on the character creator, in all fairness, because that's like the most interesting thing in Sonic Forces, in all fairness. Does that give you a speed boost if you actually boost through that? Never really noticed that before. Like, if you time it, like, perfectly, it feels like it gives you a bigger boost. Don't look in my DMs. I kind of can't. I'm in the middle of a race. Is it that fox petting gif again? Something tells me it's that fox petting gif again. The smile tells me I'm correct in this assumption. I still wonder what, like, kid me would think of current me sometimes. You know, basically a fox VTuber on the internet. Whole gender ago. Like, what would young me have thought of me? Or, like, current me? Like, would they be happy for me, or would they be kind of confused? Or concerned? Possibly both. So if you're gonna pat the fox, this would be a good time when I'm very distracted. Not able to focus on chat as much because this course has actually kinda got hands. A lot of very sharp turns. The only gif I have right now is a head pat, because I don't have, like, I don't want to, like, commission artists for more emotes at the moment. Maybe at some point, but I think I'd rather wait until, like, I have more certainty in, you know, long-term streaming. No, I'm sorry. Again, I don't really have much in terms of other benefits. I guess also, I don't know if ads run. I kind of should be paying more attention to that if, like, ads are interrupting things. Sometimes I feel like I'm not tuned in enough to streams. I'm focusing too much on, like, chat and talking to everybody. Or, like, playing the game. To the point where I'm, like, spacing out on, like, you know, back-end stuff that I should be worrying about, like, you know, Twitch stuff. Giving me money would be good enough. Well, I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. Again, subscribing is always optional. I don't expect anyone to subscribe. I just kind of am doing this for fun at the moment, and if I happen to make revenue off it, then that's cool too. But it's also just kind of, you know, at this point it's just getting a foot in the door for content creation, maybe hopefully someday growing to a bigger level, but if not, then it's a fun hobby. It's nice getting to hang out and share games like this. I thought about adding another day, but I don't know which one. Like, every day feels like it has pros and cons. Street Fighter EX 2 Plus, that's a pull right there. Alright, that is darkness. Every day feels the same. Oh shoot, Someone's running away. And that's a corner. This sucks, actually. Not that it's like a bad level or anything, not like that, but more just like, wow, this is difficult. What am I doing? I'm being really silly. I should just go and stop chasing it and then just cut it off. It's like, why didn't I think of that sooner? Clearly I make very good life choices sometimes, where it's like, yeah, no, this would be really easy if I just didn't follow it, and if I just, you know, go directly after it, like I should, and buy the game in tens. And yeah, I don't really have like goals for subscribers. At some point I might consider it. Like, you know, oh, if we get to this many subs, concurrent subs, we'll do a special thing. It's like, at this point I'm only at like 60 followers, or actually 59 if we're being precise. That's a song name. I wasn't able to absorb all that. Wait, what just happened there? I just like fell into water or something? Guess we can't go into the water or something. And Sonic's ahead of the rival, which is always a good sign. Okay, I'm having some issues with readability on this stage, so I'm also playing in a 640 by 480 window. That might be a Toho song? Yeah, that's fair. Ow. Wow, that sucked. Well, we'll see if we can catch up from that, and if not, we will do this race again. I guess it's a live system, so it's kind of like Super Mario Kart in that way. Am I going the right way? It doesn't feel like it. Again, this course is a little overwhelming. It's like not bad, but again, I just need to get a feel for it. Okay, we made it past that point this time, so that's a good sign. Oh, these are bombs. Okay, there is no friendly fire on the bombs. That is good to know. Okay, so we're going this way this time, following the arrows. Oh yeah, D-pad works. I probably should be using that more than I am. I'm like weird, you know, a lot of people like using D-pad for like 2D games. I use analog for 2D games. Like for fighting games, so again, earlier I was having D-pad issues, so it was kind of a necessary thing. Like, D-pad is not my first choice for fighting games, or like analog stick is not my first choice for fighting games, but I definitely was having better results with combos with that than the D-pad. Which again is, I think, more of a reflection on the D-pad of the PS5 being not the best. And again, this is just a case where it's like, this is the controller I have hooked up, so I'm going to use it for Sonic 2. Even though a DualSense for this game might not be the best, it was cool learning, oh hey, it actually changes color depending on which character you're picking. I assume if you use different light color, like spray paint cans, the color of the light bar would also change. But like, there's so many cool features in the DualSense that I don't care about most of the time, because it just kills the battery life. Like, cool that the controller will adapt to whatever color of character you're playing in this game, but also that means the battery life of this controller is like 4 hours, I want to say is the usual estimate. It's really like subpar for a controller that's this expensive, and then the DualSense Edge, which is $200, has worse battery life apparently, because there's even more features crammed into it. It's like, I really hate how expensive controllers have gotten. One thing I was eyeing earlier is that Analog that does a lot of like FPGA based, you know, retro consoles. That they say, oh, this is an emulation, this is like a hardware thing. And it's like, I don't know. Oh wait, this is Mirage Saloon directly. But they're doing an N64 version, which is definitely interesting to see what like an FPGA can do with like N64 specifically, because that is notoriously difficult to emulate. Oh, this is just straight up Mirage Saloon from Mania, okay. I was kind of hoping for a remix, to be honest. Though I will also not say no to the original. But I am curious about, like, the controller mostly, because it actually, a lot of, like, 8BitDo products work on Switch and PC too, and this is no exception. Okay, alright then. There's definitely a dynamic feeling to a lot of these courses that is very cool, but also very, like, overwhelming on the first playthrough, like, trying to adapt to everything that's happening, because it feels like so much is happening on the screen at a given moment. But basically, the controller specifically for this Analog 3D, as it's called, will be done by 8BitDo, which means they straight up said this will have Switch compatibility. The problem is, like, a lot of controllers have really weird dead zones for Switch specifically, or for N64 specifically. So, like, if you try to play, say, Ocarina of Time and do the archery minigame on, like, a Switch Pro controller, it doesn't feel like the sensitivity is right, like, at all. And, like, my biggest hope is that this controller actually does have proper, like, dead zones and everything for N64 games. Because it'd be really nice to have, like, a decent Switch controller that, like, can be good for N64 specifically. Not that I play too many N64 games, to be fair, but it's just like, it'd be kinda nice. Okay, okay, that's cool. But we also kinda have to boost. You messed it up? Okay. I was like trying to figure out what that is, like DPN is like... Is that like some fighting game term? I don't know. I swear everything with my brain lately somehow comes back to fighting games. I'm just been massive Guilty Gear hyper fixation at the moment. I always worry I talk too much about Guilty Gear constantly. Because I know it's kind of like a somewhat niche series still. Even though it's still, you know, bigger than it's ever been. I still feel like it's arguably kind of niche. Ow. Just don't play N64 games. But I like Majora's Mask and would like to stream it without wanting to tear my hair out from the control stick sensitivity. I think it was like Star that I saw play it and was having a lot of trouble with it. Like specific parts of that game. We're kinda out of luck here because we don't have enough rings to like sustain us to the end. I say as we get first place, never mind. I rescind that comment entirely. We have no rings, we got a terrible bonus though, so... Alright, Rock World. It definitely looks to live up to the name. It's reminding me of something. Sonic-esque Volume 1, okay. This is definitely Sonic-esque, I will give it that. It's got that Genesis, like, Sonic 2 snare going on. It's like, the Sonic 2 snare gets a really bad reputation nowadays, partly because of, like, how overused it is, in Jun Sonoe's work. But I almost feel like it is overhated, because it can sound good, it's just... it needs a certain amount of like finesse put into it to sound good, and a lot of times with like Sonic Forces is the best example. It's definitely overused to the point of just not sounding great. Where the heck are all the item boxes in this stage? I swear I've seen like none. Like, is there only this one item box in this entire level? Because that's kind of what it felt like. Yeah, no, Sonic-esque is a very good way to describe this song. That's a weird distance. That's still too far, okay. Wow, okay, that's a weird shot there. There's one all along, oh. That's on me for not finding items. That was actually kind of rough, but it was also self-inflicted in a way, because I couldn't find any of the items I wanted.
Wow, I'm good.
Alright, one more race to go of this particular cup. Regal Ruin. How faithfully adapted is this going to be? And oh no, that looks pretty faithful. I am feeling mild concern right now for how this translates. The lone Sonic R track, that sucks. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Sonic R defender. I say as I'm also like hating the idea of trying to actually navigate this without like a jump button, because like I do feel like Sonic R is definitely meant more as like a mix of platforming and high speed. Like, I'm weird about this, where it's like, I both will defend Sonic R, but also be like, it has some interesting choices. Maybe I should do that on stream sometime, like a Sonic R playthrough. Just because I think it'll be interesting to talk about, if nothing else. Just because I actually, again, I do kind of defend Sonic R more than most, I'd say. I also grew up with it, so... I definitely have, like, nostalgia for it. Yeah, this is definitely Sonic R. I feel like they picked one of the more obtuse stages too, which is interesting actually. Like, I don't mean obtuse in necessarily a bad way, as potentially negative as that might sound, where it's like, a lot of Sonic R courses do have some linear pathing, while this one is probably one of the most open. So it's genuinely a really interesting course to adapt, because it is one of the less, like, conventional courses in Sonic R. Hence why I botched the turn twice now, because I forgot how this stage works. Oh wait, this feels slower actually, because now I'm going away from the boost rings. I mean, they have to use the original song, you can't replace this. So, for GameCube, there was Sonic Gems Collection, which was a collection of a bunch of old Sonic games. There was Sonic CD as like the flagship game of that collection, but it also did have Fighters and I'm like actually trying to win this race, so I'm like, my brain is kind of shutting down a little bit. Fighters and R, and they had a bunch of Game Gear stuff. That was cool for me because I had a GameCube, and only the PS2 version of Mega Collection had all the Game Gear stuff. If I remember correctly. It's been a bit since I've tried to play Mega Collection, obviously. There were so many other options to play 2D Sonic games nowadays. You should stream the other 3D Sonic games, R, Fighters, and 3D Blast. That sounds like, oh... None of those are terribly long, that could almost be a stream in itself, but I almost feel like I'd have to re-buy Fighters, because I don't actually own the 360 version. it's like $5, and I'm like, is that still asking too much for that game, even as someone who gets some enjoyment out of it? So either the AI decided to play nice except for that one race, or I'm getting better at the game. I can't tell which one it is. I'd like to think it's the latter, but something tells me it's the former. Just by judgment? True, I could just play judgment. Oh wait, it's in Gaiden, then that's not gonna work, because I'm on Yakuza 0. I always confuse those two as well. I always forget which ones have Sonic the Fighters. It's also weird that they always call it Sonic the Fighters, because I think the US name was Sonic Championship. Alright, so what was the other one? Gold? Nope, not that one. Tornado? Tornado? Okay. Bronze Cup. Stuff I've already seen. I can't even remember which ones I am missing, or like got more recently than others. You know, Sneaker Cup, I think, so it's like these three. There's also one for Angel Island, I'm trying to find that one. What's the game in Judgment they used for a fighting game tournament? Is it Fighting Vipers? Or is it Virtua Fighter? I know one of them has like straight up Virtua Fighter 5, which is different than the version on PS4. And only PS4, I think, which is really bizarre. Sneaker Cup. Okay, we did that one already. Where's the one for Angel Island? Because I did. Oh, here it is. So yeah, nothing adjacent that is particularly up my alley. So there are 3 more cups on this row, but I hear there's like 50 million tracks in this game, so obviously we will be tackling those some other time. But I'm gonna call the game here. It is 7 p.m. and I definitely think I should try to wind down, because, yeah, I'm tired. Again, I also want to edit down the Guilty Gear part to just the parts where we're winning, to shorten it up a bit and put it on YouTube. But I also kind of want to put up the Ring Racers parts separately, just because they're in a VOD with a Guilty Gear in both cases. Yeah, there was a tournament where they accidentally backed out of the game and they just went back into Judgment. I want to say it was like an Evo side tournament or something. I want to say VF was the one. Oh, that actually makes the music go away. So yeah, hi. Thank you for hanging out today. I'm very tired, as you can probably hear in my voice, but I do apologize for the stream being kinda all over the place. Definitely not 100%, and Wednesday's stream is a little bit up in the air depending on how Tuesday goes, if you know what I mean. But yeah, depending on how things turn out on Wednesday, I might not be feeling up to it, but if we do stream, it'll probably be more Wind Waker rando. Last time we got through most of Forsaken Fortress, all that's left is Helmarock King. So we'll fight Helmarock King and probably try to tackle Tower of the Gods, because we can do all of that too, and then go from there. Thank you for hanging out, for lurking, for chatting, all the support as always. I don't really have a traditional end of stream. I should be like, yeah, follow me on X social media, but I'm really bad at that, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. It's like a regular occurrence, just because I'm like, I always feel like I'm bad at shilling for myself. Or it just feels like wrong to shill for myself that way. Just a self-conscious kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wrap up here, not do a raid just because I'm very eepy, and I definitely have some things to attend to off-stream. But yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week, and the full spiel that I definitely need to iron out, and actually have a spiel to give to wrap up. I also need to think of a raid thing, given that last time I got raided and I was not sure whatsoever how to introduce myself to like complete strangers. So I definitely need to think about that too. Like, how do I quickly sum up myself? Like, I'm a Snowfox VTuber. Do I include the part that I'm trans, just to explain my voice, maybe not being the most passing? But again, that's just me having anxiety at a point. Like, how do you explain what I do? I just play, like, random games depending on what I'm feeling. Again, stream schedule is still gonna be Monday and Wednesday for sure, assuming Wednesday works out this week. Might toss in Thursday or Friday, depending on how I'm feeling going forward, but for now, I think it's just better to commit to Monday and Wednesday. Again, thanks everybody, as always, and hope to see y'all in the future. Again, I'm really bad at outros. I do apologize for just being really kind of a bundle of nerves all stream, to be honest. And again, I do appreciate everybody hanging out in spite of that, though, because I definitely feel like I was not operating at 100%, truth be told. Yeah, thanks everyone for everything, and take care.